You all look a bit pensive this morning, so you need to smile a bit and relax. Today, I understand, is the beginning of the workshop that you'll be going through today. And over the next few days is the beginning of an exciting adventure in your lives. It's the beginning of a new part of your lives. Something, and I think on behalf of the government and behalf of the ministry, I welcome you into service for the people of this country. Because that's basically what you've decided to do. You've decided in your life that your life is going to be a life of service. Is that what nursing is all about? Nursing is about service to the people of this country. And I think this morning, I'm not going to speak too long. I think during the course of the workshop that you have over the next 3 days, you will go into detail. And I think at the very outset, it's very important just to remember a few key points that I'm going to share with you this morning. One is to always remember why you chose to become a nurse. You chose to become a nurse, one, to get some money, but ultimately it's about service to this country. And over the past few days, ever since Winston has come around and Winston has gone, I've been around to places in the country where I've met people like you, your seniors who are nurses, who have demonstrated to me their commitment to their calling. And I've seen the kinds of situations that they have lived through, but they never ever forgot the fact that they are here to serve. And they continued to serve. I've been to places in Ra, I've been to places in Telivu North, I've been to the island of Koro, island of Vonombalawu, the island of Ovalau, and I've seen firsthand the kinds of things that nurses do. And I must tell you that every time I go around and I visit our nurses, I feel so indebted to them. I feel it's such a privilege to be working with people like that, who put service as the most important thing in their lives. And I think that's a message that has to become the message to you today, to remember that nursing is about service. Nursing is also about being true to the things that this ministry is established for. Eventually you will get to see this document. This is called the National Strategic Plan for the Ministry of Health. We have established ourselves a strategic plan for the period 2016 to 2020, and in this strategic plan, we identify the reason that we exist as a ministry. We capture that. And the reasons that we exist as a ministry will also be the reasons why you have a job in this ministry. In this document, we capture the vision of the ministry. You all heard of this term, vision? What is a vision? Is it something you hear? Is it something you smell? No, what is it? It's something you can see. So the vision is something that the ministry sees in the future that we want to achieve. Do you all know what the vision of our ministry is? I'm going to tell you. Our vision of our ministry is very, very simple, but it's a hard thing to achieve. The vision of our ministry is a healthy population. That vision is my vision, the vision of all of these senior managers that we have, everybody in this ministry, that becomes our vision. That is the reason for our existence, to make sure we can keep moving this country towards a situation where we have a healthy population. That needs to become your vision. You're going to learn a lot of details, procedures, this and that, but at the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is that your vision is to help this country have a healthy population. That means when you have a vision, it's not something that just drives you from the time that you're on shift. Your shift lasts what, 8 hours, 12 hours? You start at 8 and you finish at 4, right? Or some of you might go from 8 to 8. I think we still have some 12-hour shifts going. But when you have a vision, and that vision becomes your vision, it's not something that's limited to normal working hours. When you have a vision, it's something that transcends time. It's something that drives your life through and through, 24 hours a day. So this vision of a healthy population, when we all in this ministry take that vision to be ours, we make sure that we do things whenever we are awake. Whenever we are in our communities, we are always trying to work to make sure that that vision comes alive, that we're helping people to move towards that vision. That's the vision of the ministry. That's going to be one of the most important things. You, as a nurse in this ministry, must make sure that that vision becomes your vision. When that vision becomes your vision, you will be able to do a lot of things that you did not expect that you'd be able to do. One of the most powerful things that one can have in the world is having a vision. People that don't have a vision, they wander meaninglessly through life. People that have a vision know exactly where they want to go. They can discipline themselves and they can execute things to get them to that vision. So that's the first message that I have for you. In our ministry, we have a vision, somewhere we want to go. And in this ministry, we also have established for ourselves a mission. A mission is the things that we need to do to achieve our vision. And in this booklet, you will learn later on today, we have a mission that has two components. The first part of our mission is to empower people so that they can have the best possible health. Remember this, your first part of the mission is not about you doing something to help somebody cure themselves. It's about helping that person look after their own health. You get that point, eh? The first part of our mission is all of us, me as minister, all the nurses, all the doctors, is to help people make the right decisions in their life so that they can improve their health. The first part is not about putting injections and putting up plaster and all that. It's about helping people to see what they need to do for their own life, to empower people, to give them information, to give them advice, so they can go out there and improve their own health. That sort of a mission is something you can't just do during working hours. You need to live and breathe it all the time. Whether you're in your church, whether you're in with your family, with your community, you're always thinking about ways and means by which you can empower people so they can make the best action to improve their own health. That's the first part of our mission, to empower people so that they can improve their own health. Remember that. And that's not something you're going to do just during working hours. You've got to live it and breathe it constantly, empower people to improve their own health. The second part, the first part was talking about empowering. The second part of the mission is to assist people to improve their health. And this is what we normally think about your normal health, your nursing profession, which is to deal with sick patients. You talked about rehabilitative care, about curative care, public health care. That's the next part. So we have our vision, what we want to achieve, a healthy population. Second part, the two things that we do as a ministry in order to get there. We empower people to make the right decisions for their own health by providing information, by providing an example. You nurses need to be an example. When people see you, what's happening? Is it me or is it just FEA? When people see you, when people hear you, when they watch what you do, they are empowered. They are given this sort of a power to do the right things for their own health. So we need to be walking, living models in terms of everything that we do, in terms of everything that we let people see in our lives. We are showing people what they need to do in order to have healthy lives. And over and above that, you help them do it. You deal with people in hospitals, in health centers, nursing stations. And I think over the next, how long will you be in the hospitals? 1 year? 1 year for internship, you will have an opportunity to be able to demonstrate those things. So those were to talk about our vision, our mission, and then the third thing that's very important for us. You must decide that all the things that we have decided to be the values of this ministry become your values. You know what a value is? What is a value? Is a value something that's very important or something that's not very important? Very, very important. Have you heard of the values of our ministry? Okay, what are the values of the ministry? Can somebody tell me the first one? Equity. What does equity mean? Huh? What does equity mean? What do you mean by equity? Equity comes from the word equal. That means you're treating everybody equally. This is a big challenge for all of us. Do you treat everybody equally? Or do you tend to treat the people of your same race better than others? Do you tend to treat people of your same religion better than others who don't have your religion? Do we do that? Yes, you sure? Because a lot of us unconsciously do it. You know why we unconsciously do it? Because that's the way we are trained at home. When our family sits, we are told, you know, the people that eat the kind of food that we eat, they are better than others who don't eat the kind of food that we eat. People who speak the same language, they are better than others who speak different languages. This is going to be the challenge for all of us, to break free of those kinds of shackles. Those are chains that bind us. That has been one of the biggest problems of this country. In this ministry, we say we treat everybody equally, young and old, rich and poor, male, female, or anything else, immaterial of what they are, transgender, anybody. We treat them equally. Just because somebody is the minister doesn't mean you treat him higher and you treat somebody else less. You treat everybody equally. Not an easy thing to do, but that's a challenge for us. That value must become your value. When you see anybody walk into a hospital or a nursing station, you must remember your job is to treat them equally. No favors to anybody. We elevate everybody up to a level at which we can provide service, and we treat them equally. That must become your value. And when you see that value not being practiced in the hospitals or the nursing stations or the health centers, you must speak up and talk about it. Because that value must be demonstrated in your life, must become part of what you do every day. Equity. Everybody treated equally, immaterial of who they are. As long as they are a person who come to us for service, we provide that service to them. What's the second what's the second value that we have in our ministry? Integrity. What does integrity mean? Big word, eh? Big word, integrity. What does it mean? How do you know that somebody has integrity? How can you tell? I hear a lot of murmuring. How can you tell that somebody has no integrity? If somebody says, I'm going to do this, and if they do it, does that show integrity? Yes. If somebody says, I'm going to do this, and does this, what does that show? No integrity. Integrity is all about being true. True to others, being true to yourself. You, for instance, might decide that this vision of the ministry of a healthy population, this mission of the ministry to assist people to improve their own health, this mission of the ministry to empower people to take the right decisions for their life is important. But your behavior, the behavior that you do every day, will show whether you have integrity in terms of coherence or congruence between what you do every day and what you believe. So integrity is, first of all, being true to yourself. If you decide, for instance, that the vision is important, the mission is important, you have integrity when your behaviors and your action every day is pointing towards or in line with those vision and your mission. That's the first part of integrity. The second part of integrity is being true to those around you. All of us in the Ministry of Health, we're all team members. We all rely upon each other. There's no Superman in this ministry. I'm not Superman. Definitely not Superman. Superman didn't lose his hair like me. All of us rely on one another. A ministry, a team is only as strong as the people who have integrity. If you promise something to somebody, you deliver it. When you promise something, when you say that you're going to deliver something and you don't deliver it, you lose integrity. And when integrity is lost, you know what happens? Trust is lost. Trust is lost. And when you lose trust, the team cannot function well. Trust is a very hard thing to create, but a very easy thing to destroy. And in a ministry like this, where we need to serve people from all walks of life, we need to have that trust. And underlying that trust is always the integrity, where people say something and they do it and they deliver it. And when they don't do it and when they deliver it, integrity disappears and the trust disappears, and we can then not function well as a team. So that's the second part of our values. First value is, what is it? Equity. Second is? Integrity. What's the third? Respect for human dignity. And I think you as nurses, you've done that, what's that pledge that you do? Nightingale Pledge. And in that pledge, you talk about all of these things, that you elevate human beings, all of those, the people that we serve in this country. That is something you must never forget. You're going to wear a uniform. Very soon you'll be wearing a uniform. That uniform is almost gives you a lot of authority. You know, when you wear the uniform with the blue thing and the little, you wear a hat. No, who wears a hat? Yeah, the senior ones wear hats. Eh? In the hospital you wear hats. But you wear that uniform, sometimes Am I right? Okay. Leslie, because she's not in the hospital, she doesn't wear a hat. When you wear that hat, sometimes it makes you feel that you're on top of the world because you're an authoritative person. When that happens, don't forget this value. You must always have respect for human dignity. Everybody, every citizen of this country is your boss. You are here to serve every citizen of this country. Whether he comes in with one eye, with one leg, or with no legs, your job is to treat them as if they were somebody above you and you are underneath them, serving them up. We should always look to all human beings. When we see them, we look up to them. We don't look down at them. When you start looking down, you lose that sense of respect for human dignity. Every citizen of this country is somebody we look up to. And that's something you must never forget whilst you're working as a nurse in the Ministry of Health. Respect for human dignity is the third. What's the next one? 2 more to go. Responsiveness. Responsiveness. If something happens now, you do something now. Eh? If something happens now, you do something now. You don't wait for next week, or you don't wait for the boss to come around and do something. You need to be able to react to the things that happen. Somebody needs some assistance, somebody needs a glass of water. Your job is to be able to do it, to provide the responsiveness. And I think these things follow from one another. Respect for human dignity and responsiveness. They are very, very closely related to one another. And the last one? Customer focus. What does it mean to be customer focused? What do you mean by the term focus? Any of you good at taking photos? You know, you start focusing your lens. When I'm focusing, when you are, how many of you are married or not married? Most of you are unmarried, eh? Yeah, as you begin to get into a relationship, if I'm a young man, and there's a lot of women, if I'm getting into a relationship, I begin to focus on one particular woman. My eyes are focused. I don't see any other woman. I just see that one. Eh? That's what it means. Eh? Customer focus is like that. When you're focusing on somebody, you don't see anybody else. You just see that one person. Customer focus is like this. If I'm focused on this young lady, I'm already married, so I'm not... If I'm focused on this young lady, my eyes and my attention are on her. You can put a D6, a caterpillar to come in front of me, an aeroplane, but when that aeroplane goes past, my eyes are still on her. So when we're talking about customer focus must be something that we remember. We are here to serve people. The most important person is your customer. Customer, the person that comes to the hospital. That is your focus, not the boss. The boss comes and goes. Your job is not to serve the boss. Your job is to serve who? A customer. So your eyes are focused on the customer. If you have a ball hits you in the head, hits you like this, when you come up again, my eyes are still on the customer. That's customer focus, because the customer becomes the most important thing in your life. There was a statement, you heard of Mahatma Gandhi? Yes. Yeah, very famous guy. Eh? Mahatma Gandhi said this about businesses. He said, the customer is the reason for our existence. If there were no customers, there's no reason for us to be in this business. The customer is the reason for our existence, so our focus must be sharply on the customer. So during the course of your work here, you're going to learn about a lot of things today. I want you to keep in mind these things. These are the most important things in this ministry. You must understand the vision, and that vision must become your vision. When you wake up in the morning, you give thanks to God for the fact that you're alive, and you say, Lord, today, let it be a day in which I can do something to help this country move towards that vision of a healthy population. And you also give thanks to God, and you say, Lord, today, this mission that we have in this ministry of assisting people to make the right choices for their health, to empower people to make the right choices for their health, of assisting people to have healthy lives, let that be something that drives me today. When you wake up every day in the morning, you ask God to thank you, to bless you, to make sure that all those values we talk about. What are the 5 values? Equity, integrity, okay, let it be a day in which you do something to do that. And you know, at the end of the day, for you to be an effective person in this ministry, you have to develop effective habits. Habits are very important. I had a quote here. Let me just quote. Have you heard of this person called Aristotle? Who has heard of Aristotle? He's not somebody from Nahua. Aristotle was a Greek person, supposed to have been a very, very smart person. This is what Aristotle said about excellence. No, we always talk about excellence, that we want to be excellent. This is what Aristotle said. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. That's what he says. We, you and I, we are what we repeatedly do. You keep on doing something, that is what you become. The more that you do it, it becomes you. So I think right from the very start of your career as nurses, you need to make sure that you pick up the right habits, the right things that you do every day. You start on the wrong habits, you will become a person that is not excellent. I'll read it again. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. So the secret in excellence is making sure that you pick up the right habits. Right habits are things that you repeatedly do. You keep on doing something over and over again, ultimately it becomes something that you do unconsciously. Right? You do the right thing over and over again, and it does not have to be big things, small things. One of the biggest things that I find when I first came to this, I'm not a medical person. I learned from the nurses, I learned from the doctors. But they tell me one of the biggest things that we find in hospitals that people complain about is they feel that they are not really wanted. They feel ill at ease. When people come to the hospital, when most of us come to the hospital, do we like to come to hospital or not when we are sick? No, a lot of trepidation, a bit frightened. So what do they need in that sort of a situation? They need some reassuring words. They need some comforting words. That's something also now, as nurses, you are learned all the clinical stuff. If this happens, poke this needle. If that happens, put the plaster. But at the end of the day, you're dealing with people. A lot of people, they need to be put at ease. They need the comforting word. I don't know whether that's part of your training too, is it? Yes, okay. That's something you need to be able to teach yourself to have that habit of providing that comforting word whenever it is needed, to giving information to people. If you develop that habit, it automatically becomes a part of your life. In a nutshell, for excellence, I believe you've got to do two things. You can have big goals, vision, mission, but you must identify the small things that you must practice day in, day out. Big goals and small, small quotas, small things. Like for instance, if you want to become fit, your overall goal is to become fit. You can make a decision that every day when you wake up, you will do 3 press-ups in the morning. Or every time you go to the bathroom, you do 3 press-ups. When you do that automatically, you do it again and again and again and again. What happens? Will you get fit? Yes, because you make a commitment to a small thing. You make a commitment to a small thing, you automatically do it, it becomes a part of your habit, and that moves you towards the achievement of your ultimate goal. So what I'm saying is you have the vision, mission, but commit yourself to small things that when they become a habit, they move you to become an excellent nurse. That's what I'm going to talk about today. I welcome you again to this ministry. I know that this workshop is going to be a good workshop. As I've seen, I've been around to the country, I always never really thought about the enormous job that nurses do. But after having been around in the aftermath of Cyclone Winston, I value nurses. I value the kinds of things that they do. I've been into the reaches of Viti Levu and Vunua Levu, where there's a nurse on her own looking after a whole population. The house falls around the nurse. The nurse's quarters becomes an evacuation center. The clinic becomes an evacuation center, but the nurse is still able to deliver service. And that is the kind of person that I think are the unsung heroes of Tropical Cyclone Winston. And as you come into this fraternity of nursing, remember that it's a fraternity of service to others. We welcome you to the Ministry of Health. I wish that God will shower His blessings upon you so that you can become a role model, that you can deliver service as we move constantly towards that vision of a healthy population that will be achieved through the kinds of efforts that you do. God bless you all.